Long quest on the highway we call life. Every day is a gamble, time to roll the dice. I want the whole pie, motherfucker slice. On my back a few times, I done pulled the knife. Live right, the coma always come back around.
What's good? Back with another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your host, D. Dot. Today's guest is actually going to be an artist who does hip hop and R&B from Idaho by the name of Hakeem Prime. And I actually came across Hakeem Prime every once in a while. I do these posts online where I'm seeking guests for the podcast. And Hakeem was one of the artists that reached out to me on one of those posts. And I got a chance to check out some of Hakeem's work. We're going to talk about his recent project, Detour II, and more. If this is your first time tuning into the Major Music Lounge podcast, I'd like to talk to other independent music creators about their journey creating music and more. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok as well as Threads. And you can follow me on Twitter at d.mme. And if you like this interview, you stay through the whole interview, please consider subscribing to the channel. And you can reach out to me on one of those platforms as well if you'd like to be a guest on the Major Music Lounge podcast. Now let's go ahead and get into the interview with Hakeem Prime. So we are back with the Major Music Lounge podcast, and we're joined by hip hop and R&B artist Hakeem Prime, coming straight to us from Idaho. What's good, my brother?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh man, no problem at all. No problem. Definitely a pleasure to have you on and spend some time watching a lot of your content, listening to a lot of the music. And I could tell you, man, you gained a fan right here, man. And we're gonna
Oh,
get
cool.
into it. Yeah, we're gonna definitely get into it, man.
All right, for sure.
Man,
I definitely will be open with you and let you know what we need to.
yeah, man, definitely, man. So, for our listeners out there, who is Hakeem Prime? Like, with that question, like, how long have you been creating music and who have been some of your influences as far as becoming a music creator?
Yeah. So my big influences, like even starting off early on, were for one, of course, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I remember being a 4-year, 5-year-old child seeing Thriller for the first time. And that was really impactful to me because it was some kind of creative prowess to it that made me really just move my feet and want to entertain, whether it been my mom or, cousins around or something. And then as I grew older, um, hip hop spoke to me a lot. R&B spoke to me a lot. There was a lot of different messages from Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson to Mary J. Blige and uh, Method Man. Those songs really stuck, and just the movement of it all was great. And it's people like Tyrese, Usher, as far as R&B goes, they really made a good impression as far as music goes in my household. So I just went with that for real.
Yeah, man. Like, Michael Jackson for one. I think Michael Jackson was so influential, from R&B pop, just, music generally speaking. And I got a chance to see something real cool a couple of weeks ago. I was in Detroit and I went to the Motown Museum and Michael Jackson ironically donated some of the gloves that he had worn. I think it was during a performance, but I got to see those in that museum. But he's
Oh
influenced
wow.
me as well. Yeah, man, that was pretty cool. I
Man,
did
that's dope.
actually a blog on my YouTube with it. It was pretty cool to see and just go in that studio and see where a lot of this timeless music was recorded at as well, man. So I definitely encourage it, if you ever anybody ever through Detroit. And then I mean you spoke to like my era of music as well with, Mary J, Method Man, to name a few, and just some of your
Hmm.
influences was mine as well, so I could definitely relate to you on that, man.
Yeah.
Now, how long as a total like have you been creating music?
In total, now it's been almost like, and I say this like as a hobby, like for 14 years.
Wow.
For
Okay.
14 years, it's really been a blessing. It's really been a
Yeah.
blessing because it's like the first the first few years you always gonna think like it's an overnight thing that
Yeah.
can just
Yeah.
happen. You know what I'm saying? And that like a label's gonna randomly reach out and be like, "We need you." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when you like maybe 6, 7 years in and you finally meet your craft, or wherever you may be, you know. But I think there's a whole aspect of it that you have to actually engulf yourself in, and you actually have to pull yourself out and be realistic and see it from the outside looking in, and then you realize that like you can touch a lot of people without being a part of a label or a part of whatever conglomerate there is. It's great to do that. It's great to be a part of something, but start somewhere. And so it's been 14 years of my journey with it, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, man. Mad props to you first and foremost for putting in 14 years of work in this
Yeah,
industry.
thank
Uh, Yeah, no problem. And like a lot of people don't realize, because I can remember as well, like coming up, you think you want to go the route of getting signed, and the landscape, especially like since I started creating music as well, has went from being label based to being more independent. And I think a lot of artists don't realize the amount of work, the amount of investment that, not just money, but also time to even survive as an independent artist. And some people, they end up quitting, maybe after a year or two. And,
you. Tune.
others, kind of like yourself may excel and put in 5, 10, 15 years and, make a career out of it. So, I really commend you on that. Now, kind of leading to the next one, I listened to your album, Detour II.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that was pretty dope as well, man.
Oh, you like that, John?
Yeah, yeah, man. What I liked
Okay.
about it was, and from your style, you kind of like, in fact, your sound when it comes to like R&B kind of reminds me of that 90s, early 2000s style of R&B.
Okay.
But then on
Okay.
the flip side of it, you got that hip hop vibe with it as well.
Yeah.
Um, have you always kind of combine the two on albums, or have you always also maybe went the route of maybe making a R&B album completely, or a hip hop album completely? Like, how do you work in between the two?
Yeah. So I took a lot of time beating into my craft on datpiff.com, RIP,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So there was like over, I'd say 27 mixtapes that I did have that were some solely focused on hip hop, some solely focused on R&B. I did find it to where when I was making the music, of course, I was like trying to figure out how would I, because I'm a fan of the music itself. So of course I was listening to, Lil Wayne's, the
yeah,
50 Cents, the Lloyd Banks, the Lloyd, the singer, Drake. I was listening to all those guys coming up as when I'm a teenager, of course, so I was listening and then also trying to do mixtapes. So I found that I would kind of like sound like them. And while doing these individual tracks, and I'm just like, maybe I should stop. So I took a long, like maybe 5 year break from listening to these guys, like every day how I was, right?
yeah,
So that way I can understand, like, okay, from my perspective, how do I blend what I like about music to what I enjoy to tell a story about? So that's when I like tried to find the essence in that. And it was really hard because at one point in time when I was doing them, I would like have like fire hooks, but then I would only want to do like one verse. You know what I'm saying? In the mixtape days, it was just like you can put like a 2 minute song on there
yeah,
and then and maybe do a whole full song of somebody else's song, you know? So that's kind of how I got to where I understood how to blend it because then you don't want to overpower. Like, let's say I have a hip hop hook that is just me talking, but then I want to sing on the verses. So I had to find out how to actually blend that properly to where it's consumable and it makes sense. So that's where I will find. So I remember, for example, my mixtape, "Who Is Hyphy the Spider?" I was really rapping on there crazy, but then I realized I know how to do these hooks that are like just catchy as hell. So then I backed up from that and started just focusing on doing rap hooks and then singing. So then it just got me to this mode to where I was like, okay, this the topic is probably like but the it's catchy as hell, you know. So then I understood how to really blend it all together, and that really helped me focus on what I wanted to make my my craft like. And I think coming out of that, my last mixtape was the Detour One. So Detour One, and it's on my SoundCloud now. I always say like that was like the epiphany of what I was always doing. I mean, of course, I got Signs as well, which is another mixtape that slash album. But I really feel like Signs and Detour were my peaks of my craft and me understanding how I want to portray my voice to the masses.
Yeah, and having that talent, you got so many infinite possibilities in terms of being able to create. Because kind of like you said, you can do a R&B song with kind of like a rap hook, and vice versa. You could do a song with 16 bars of a rap verse, and then come
Mm-hmm.
back with kind of that R&B hook. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. Pretty cool, like almost kind of like multi what's the our combination knife.
Right.
Yeah, to where
Yeah.
you can
Swiss knife.
Swiss knife,
Swiss
that
Army knife. Yeah.
Swiss Army knife, to be as an artist and a music creator. Now, do you do any production too?
Yeah. That's what I when I was doing that Piff days, it was just I was in there Fruity Loops, hitting them every time. And of course, I would get on like, popular songs and just, spaz out on them. But
Yeah.
I started to like get on Fruity Loops because I was like, okay, I'm already making my digital, my web design and flyers by myself, like the songs, and the albums covers. I was
Yeah,
making all them. You know what I'm
that's
saying? So I was
awesome.
like, I might as well hit the production too. So I tried to do it. I'm good at it, but it's just like I was just like, nah, let me just hold off on it, cause like I was getting money from them too, and I end up like giving away some. You know how when your friends like, look, man, you can't rap, sing, and make the beats, by give us some beats, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I end up giving a lot of beats away, and then I like that side of it, but that's just like not my front end. I'd
Yeah,
rather just write a song. I'm so invested when it comes to beats, but then at the same time, there's just like gray areas to where if you make so many, you kind of don't even want to hear them no more because it's just like you've already done with it. What else is there, you know? And
yeah,
maybe I'm just so hungry to write. That's why I don't really have a feel to where I want to focus on it too much, but I can do all that. And that's because of those times. And man, if thinking back, like I was really 13, 14, 15 doing all this
yeah,
stuff. And of course I was just a fan of music and I tried to stay focused, of course, because music for me, it was different. Like when I was writing, I was trying to write to understand. My mom, she Congolese, she's from Africa. You know what I'm saying? So when I was with her, a lot of the times, there's nothing she could really teach me. So I noticed when, I had family come over and we would rap and I was writing and I would be able to read what I'm saying. And I couldn't read a book for real. I'll be honest with you. So like when I was young, like that was really what focused me and got me going into wanting to write. So I had this like different hunger to write, you know? Um, yeah.
Now, with that being said, like one of the questions I always like to also ask artists and even producers from their standpoint, like when you lock in, do you have a producer that you work with directly, or do you have maybe somebody that they might send you a pack of beats. And, kind of when I'm saying directly, like y'all go to the lab together, you might spend a couple hours, say, hey, here, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And the producer might see your lyrics and kind of build around that. Explain your creative process.
Yeah. So I got like I come in with something written. Um, and then yeah, I work with a producer. And man, the guys who I'm working with right now, they just through the roof. And it's like they local. And it's just like, okay, let's kill some things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I go in there and I'll have it written down. But hey, producer might have something that he holding. They might just show you know how producers be. Hey, look, this black guy been working on it. You know what I'm saying? So then boom, they put, and then I hit a freestyle or I write something and we craft something from there. You know, so it's pretty simple. You know, going in there and knocking it out. I think you really do got to be professional though. You know, what I'm saying working with a producer face to face because they want you they don't want their time wasted. And of course, you know, since they sit there and make their beats, they want you to have something prepared. If you know how to do it, if you know how to polish things up, even from a freestyle like myself, you can do that. But a lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know how to do that. And it's really a time question. Because if you can freestyle something and then write maybe 8 bars on top of that, you gotta that's a verse, that's a song. All you gotta do is hit the hook. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my process.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you on that because I do a lot of my recording here now, but I can remember when I used to mostly go to like studios and do a lot of the recording as well. And
Mhm.
I would have my verses already written, ready to go. And there were times though, like um and it's more so now that I kind of work with other producers, but it's from the standpoint of them sending beats, and I may have something already written, and as I'm going through the pack, I'm like, oh, well, this fits with this, and
Yes.
I might start to create around that. And there have been other times too, like me being a producer mainly, I may, as a lot of
Oh,
times,
okay.
kind of like I say, I have a lot of lyrics in my phone, but I might build a song around something that I have written already and just kind of go from there. So, it's a lot of different ways to create. I like to even, I've done sessions with artists where they've came in, they say, hey, this is what I want, and we might sit down for an hour, two, three, whatever that looks like, but end up making a beat on the spot for them for a song that they have written. So, um, what I always encourage artists and even producers to a standpoint, but maybe find, one or two people that you can form a circle with and start to create with. And I think once you start to create with that producer, you start to kind of develop your own sound that way.
Hmm.
So yeah, I always encourage artists to find that one producer that's willing to work with them.
Yeah. No, that's dope. What you think about like I just had a good question just real quick since I found out you're a producer too. What you think about like uh producers taking the lead on certain like songs, even if you come through with it written? Is it like custom to be like, let the producer like try to guide it through?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you from my standpoint of both like being an artist and producer, like um as a producer, I kind of appreciate when an artist is willing to accept or ask for some of my input as far as, maybe how they should do something, how they should record something, or maybe even there's been times when I say, hey, maybe you should say this in this bar rather than, whatever they're saying at that point. And, from an artist standpoint as well, I had a friend, he passed away years ago, but he was kind of the person that taught me how to make music and not just being a producer, but also being an artist. And I used to take a lot of his feedback as well. And it's helped me develop as an artist. So I'm definitely open to like, I like feedback and I also like helping to develop an artist, maybe with some of the things that I didn't know coming up being an artist that I could spread and help another artist develop in themselves.
Okay. Okay. I see that. I can see that. Cool.
Man, so I also watch you had sent me a video about the Idaho rappers Mount Rushmore.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, that was dope. And one of the things that stood out to me is you and working with a lot of social causes. You did some work in Parkland, Florida, I think in what, 2018 or so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Mm.
talk about that experience and what you experienced along the way as far as helping out in Florida.
Oh yeah. So like and so what happened in that situation in 2018, they were doing like a March for Our Lives student walk because of the shootings in Florida. And the in this area in Idaho, I just I was just doing my thing locally. I got hired on to help out with a campaign that was going on for Miss Paulette Jordan. Her team reached out to me, and of course, she was running for governor. So there was some things that I was doing in the local area that was like towards politics because just the area has been like, I guess this place is kind of like 10 years behind in some aspects.
Yeah.
Um, it's a wonderful place to be, but of course, progression is great. And I think the kids in this area was hearing, what I was doing. And man, they reached out and was like, yo, we want you to come and speak at the March for Our Lives. And I was just like, or you know what? I'm sorry. It was the Enough is Enough student walkout at first. And this was just, the gun violence in Florida was crazy. I had experienced something that was very close to home because I was actually moving out there the year prior and with my family. And something happened to where our 9-year-old cousin in law of mine got shot. And it was just like, man, I just saw a little one pass away. And matter of fact, in fact, she wasn't even 9, she was 3. So yeah, she was so young. And it was just like, damn, I don't understand this. I know from me growing up in Oakland, California, that things like this happen. But I'm just older now and I'm just like, damn, this is still happening. So that's actually one of the reasons why I even came back to stay with Boise because I had my daughter just like a year from there. So my daughter had barely even turned 1 when that happened, you know? Um, or matter of fact, she hadn't even turned 4. I'm sorry, because that was 2018. So yeah, so she hadn't even turned 4 at that point. So she was close to the girl's age. Um, so then they called me to do that, and I spoke about, yeah, this gun reform stuff needs to happen because we do need guns. Don't get me wrong, but it needs to be better, protections for students and you know, period. And that's what I really was kind of focused on at that point in time. And I think they really resonated with what I had to say, you know. Um, so they did so much they called me to be the headlining act of in March for Our Lives, Boise 2018. And that was a great honor because, I just met a lot of different people. And I was able to speak with the the conglomerate of the community who wants to, make sure gun violence is, pushed into the forefront to where we understand like, hey, this is not just take away the guns. This is no, we need guns, but it needs to be better enforced to where certain people can't have them. And the kids wanted their voice to be heard because it's just like they're all the way in Boise, but they feel for these kids in Florida. You
Yeah.
know, they shouldn't have had to go through that. You
Yeah.
know, no parent should have to go through that. You know, it could have been me or you.
Yeah.
So I really felt like they were really speaking to everybody's souls there, and they understood like the agenda.
Yeah.
It was bigger than the city. It was bigger than that. It was more so about unifying everybody. And I'm an activist for whatever's positive, man, and whatever can progress the culture, the community. And I've always been that way. Um, and I feel like I'm glad that those kids, heard me because all the music that I make, like I got some that's really speaking the truth, but I didn't think people really cared that much.
Yeah.
But here they go, the ear of the youth. So I was really surprised and honored that they brought me aboard to be a part of that. It wasn't about me; it was about them. Um, I do that often, what I'm saying now, because it's just like whoever need that torch passed down to them, we're gonna make sure that torch passed. Because I ain't getting nothing but older.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be somebody else who's rapping and singing or who's activist and who has dreams who needs that to be passed down. And I'm always there for it. So it feels great to me to have been a part of that and to continue to be a part of it. Um and yeah, I think I made my daughter proud. Like my daughter's 10 now and
Yeah.
we have pictures of, being there and she recalls some of the things. So it's just like, yo, like that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to make sure that, the community is strong and that my daughter knows that, hey, we gotta fight for community no matter what,
Yeah. Yeah,
no matter
man.
where we at.
Big ups to you on that, man. And that definitely is an honor to be a part of that movement. And just reading that and thinking about, like, I don't know if you remember this, but about, I think it was maybe 2 years ago in Dallas, or outside of Dallas, they had that mass shooting at that shopping
Mm,
mall. Well, I live 10
yeah.
minutes from there. I
Oh,
live
do
10
you?
minutes from there. Yeah, and
Damn.
like that hit close to home, just kind of hearing your story and reading about that. And I do think some things need to be done in terms of gun reform. Because these days, man, I mean, you got shootings happening at Super Bowl parades and
Man, right?
everywhere, man. So I mean, you can't really go out there and enjoy life. And another thing I want to say, man, is my condolences to the young lady that you were talking about, the 3-year-old that got
Yeah,
shot as well, man.
man, yeah. No, I
Man,
appreciate that. That's like, it was an extended family. Um, and I, like I said, it was shocker to me because at that time my daughter was around the same age as her, and I was supposed to be moving there. So you already know what I did. Hit the Huey. Yeah, you feel me?
yeah,
Because I was just like, why? You know what I'm saying? I already had made a life out here in B Town, and I was just getting bored because I'm not used to B Town. But B Town is evolving. And it don't have to evolve on my time. I don't need to be controlling how it evolves. I need to be more patient. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was a wake up call. I gotta protect mine, and it just don't make sense to, hop stupid because I want things to go faster, you know.
yeah,
So
man. And another thing, you talked about Oakland, and I was watching some of
mm,
your videos too, and I saw you
yeah.
had on some Raiders gear. You wouldn't happen to be a member of Raider Nation, would you?
Man, till I die,
All right,
unfortunately.
all right. I knew I
You
liked you for a reason.
okay, okay, Raider
Yeah,
Nation.
yeah, Raider Nation, man.
Oh, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, we opted in already. You know what I'm saying? Till I
Man,
die, you feel me?
man, all day, man, all day. So, yeah, I gotta ask you, with the recent additions of we heard a couple of days ago, Geno Smith is now
Okay,
a part of the squad, and then Pete
nice.
Carroll. Pete Carroll is
Okay,
the coach now. Like, what do you
oh,
think?
okay.
What do you think of all the changes?
No, that's good. I mean, even with them going to Nevada, man, was really just an eye opener to the politics of it all. But I like the progression. I like where it's going. They really got a lot of heart, man. I think they just need that one shot,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be in there, man. We'll get back again, hopefully soon. But what I'm saying, I like the progression. To be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. I like the changes, man. I'm kind of interested to see, especially like with free agency starting this week, in fact, I think tomorrow,
Oh,
but
okay.
um, that and then the draft is a little over a month from now, so I'm kind of waiting to see what they do in the next couple of months or so. It's gonna be real interesting, but I agree they're gonna turn around pretty soon.
But
Bad, bad man. Now, you also had an email sent my way too, and I found this topic interesting, which was how does independent artists like yourself navigate the streaming numbers and promoting your music, while other major artists like Kendrick, for example, or Drake, are at the top of the charts. Like,
okay. Um, I think it's hit or miss, man, because at the same Spotify is weird, man. It's tricky, man. And I'm gonna just throw them under the bus just because they the main ones people talking about right now, right?
yeah,
I think they've it's like so much of a dark side to it. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen this too. I've seen videos to where these guys got like a setup with all these phones or something like that, and I guess people are calling that bot farms, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I just don't, I just don't understand it, to be honest. Like I don't get because I've even been accused some like before, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like where does someone like me even find something like that? How could I even compete with whoever got those? You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm told to stay away from certain companies online who promise certain numbers of
yeah,
streams. So like with me, I come from an area, I'm old school, man. When I go and do shows, I'm grabbing your email. I'm grabbing your email. So I've over time, over these 14 years, I was collecting emails every time. So I've been from Atlanta to Jackson, Mississippi, to Miami, Florida, to Sacramento, California. Every time I dip, I'm grabbing numbers, I'm grabbing emails. I'll go sell CDs in Portland, Oregon. And while I'm selling the CDs, I'm asking you for your email. So it's hard for me to understand how I'm going to compete with these guys who quote unquote got these bots where I don't know where I would even find them,
yeah,
you know? So it's weird. It's hard to actually to say where we be at, like as far as independent artists in these upcoming years. Um, it's not like we're playing in the same, playing field anymore when it comes to that. Um, it's getting scary out here as
yeah,
far as that goes.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, and it's sad because like they have these, and I see them a lot on Instagram. Like sometimes I might post maybe a recent release, a music video, whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden you got somebody in your DMs saying, "Hey, I got this promotion guaranteeing 6,000 plays or whatever it is," and like to me, a lot of artists are cheating the system, but at the same time, like Spotify, they got to the point where they'll take your music down if you're boosting your plays like that. So, like, while I do sometimes like see some artists that may submit to playlists, or I've done playlists as well. I always caution anybody, if you sign up or if you're trying to get like music promotion, do your best research on that company or that person or whatever, make
yeah,
sure it's a legitimate service. Because, like you said, if it's somebody guaranteeing a certain amount of plays, then that's
right,
not music promotion. It's probably somebody somewhere,
right.
like you say, a bot for them. And then secondly,
Okay.
a lot of artists, I feel like they don't really want to take the time to invest that connection with potential fans rather than
Yeah,
they're just putting music out, in other words, and they have no plan in terms of how they're going to promote it. And there's several ways to promote, even with things like Instagram ads, for example.
And I'm glad you said that though too about you talking about the Indian dudes who be hitting you up on the Instagram,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Bruh.
yeah.
Nah, bruh. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm gonna just tell it since nobody want to tell it. I'm gonna just tell it, right? So when you get a little bit of traction on Instagram or Twitter, these Indian guys from Pakistan, wherever the hell they from, they be like, "Hey, you want free promotion? Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna give you a trial run, 100,000 streams, or 50 comments on your YouTube video, or 10,000 YouTube views," and they'll just do it because they think that you're gonna give them some money. So by the time you do see the message that's in your request, they already had picked the video that they like or song that they like and promoted your junk. So that right there is like, I for one, when you see them, I'm knowing like, okay, if you doing that, you got the bots.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't even want to fuck with you anyway, right? So, but it be in a request for so long that they want to show that they real. By the time you look at the request, they already done something.
yeah.
And it baffles the hell out of me because one time I look on Spotify, they talking about one of the songs got his body.
Oh
And I'm
man.
just like, bruh, I had the screenshot show the proof. Now, I mean, from DistroKid, they said that they looked into it and the song's still up. So I guess I'm good. But I had a warning. So it's just like, yo, like it's out there, but if you penalize the little guy for stuff like that, who don't got a major label behind them,
Yep.
who is getting solicited by these guys from other countries who have these bots, what kind of like what's really going on, man?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then because then on the flip side, right? I know you didn't see this. They posted on Twitter that Kendrick Lamar got bots on his song, right? Then I see that some bots are good. What the hell is bro? Bro, I need a class on this, bro. Like, cause what's happening, bro? Now bots are good, and it's not just Kendrick. I'm not trying to throw Kendrick on the bus. Some people show Drake is getting bots, and J. Cole and Cardi B. I've seen it all on Twitter. Now, this Twitter is the detective central of the world right now. So you take it with a grain of salt. But seeing stuff like that is really weird to me. Of course, like I said, I'm old school. I don't even like social media like that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm trying to wrap my head around it all, and it's still kind of foreign territory to me.
Man. Yeah, anytime I see one of them cats in my DMs, I block them right away.
Yeah.
I don't even want no part of that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Then
man.
cleaned all my DMs out just to make sure they block I feel like if you don't respond after a certain amount of time, they're gonna just do it to
Yeah.
see because they just assume that you're doing that, and then you got the AI out now that would just message you and detect. So, bro, what we really facing?
Yeah, they got me like that on YouTube, one of my videos. And I had to same thing, sending like screenshots to YouTube because they was about to take down one of my videos because they thought I had boosted it, and it was one of these guys off of Instagram that had used one of my videos, and they took a screenshot themselves and sent it to me and say, here's what we did, and I had to
Yep.
take that and send it in to YouTube, and they ended up leaving my video up. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man,
No, that's happening daily. Crazy.
man. What you got planned for the remainder of 2025? I know like we're just in March, but we got a lot of 2025 ahead of us.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of things. I'm still promoting Detour II, so I just want to keep bringing that. The deluxe album was released, so we added an extra song on there. Matter of fact, we about to release a remix here shortly. It's called "Throw It" remix with Young Vibe, or excuse me, Big Vibe. I'm tripping. Um, yeah, so we gonna release that with Big Bob, probably exclusively on Instagram, and then we're gonna see if we get some traction on that. We'll put it up on DSPs, and then I got another album that I'm working on called Prime. That one's gonna be real cool. Prime is gonna have like 7 songs on it. It's actually done, so I'm just doing music videos for that right now, and then I got 2 other albums that I'm just sitting on, but we really want to get placements for this Detour II and the new album Prime. So that's what we're working on right now. Working on placements. Um yeah, I got shows lined up. Um might be doing something on March 30th in New York.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that. And I'm planning to do a tour. So we just gaining awareness though for a tour. If you do anything with events, man, let me know. I'd love to come out to the area. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just trying to just trying to really showcase what I got going. But slowly but surely, I don't want to rush nothing. I'm gonna just take my time because when it's my path and it's ready, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah,
yeah, man, I
man.
used to be really impatient with it, but now it's just like people gonna just come. I'm gonna let the music speak.
Yeah,
So
man. Well, definitely like what you're doing, man. Keep up the great work, man.
thank you, you as well.
Yeah, man. I
We got to
appreciate.
definitely talk about some production stuff.
Yeah, yeah, man. I would definitely love to work, man. We're gonna talk a little offline, but like I've been doing these projects with different guests actually, and we're gonna definitely chop it up, man. Would love to work with you,
Okay, for sure, for sure. I'm down.
man. Where can our listeners follow you at? In your socials and find a lot of your work at.
Yes, you can find me everywhere at Hakeem Prime. On YouTube, it's actually at Hakeem Primer. On TikTok, it's at Hakeem Primer. But definitely check out my website, HakeemPrime.com, where you can find all my latest releases and news. And yeah, I do shout outs on there and everything as well. So y'all let me know if you do need. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually followed you on Instagram, man. So,
cool.
um, you
Okay,
know,
but I'll make sure I follow back.
yeah, definitely, man. Looking forward to what you got coming next. And I do want to shout out to Christopher Kim
Okay,
for reaching out and sending that
for sure.
email with a lot of your info. Learned a lot about you, and was definitely glad to have you come on the show, man. And with that said, man, you have any like shout outs for friends, fans, supporters, anybody that you know out there?
Um, yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who doing it. Somebody individually, not really, man. Shout out to y'all for having me on here, man. Shout out to you, man. Um, right now, I'm moving and working, so it's hard to pinpoint like one person. Uh, my team, they know I love them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's really it, man. Shout out to all the supporters who've been helping me out, and stay tuned. We got more to come.
Yeah, yeah, man. Definitely go ahead and hit my guy Hakeem Prime with a follow and check out his music available on all streaming platforms. And really enjoyed the conversation and having you on a Major Music Lounge podcast. And thank you for reaching out to me again, man.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah, man. You can
Much
follow
love.
me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok as well as threads on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at d.mme. And if you hung around on the interview this long, please consider subscribing to the Major Music Lounge podcast. Like to post interviews here on YouTube and all streaming platforms with other music creators to just talk about their journey creating music and more. Again, I appreciate everybody that tuned in this far. This is D Dot and Hakeem Prime, another episode of the Major Music Lounge.